is our second video for projects for our students and everybody else out there. You know, we think of our pets as our family members, and we're going to make a little raised dog dish for Pebbles, and we'll use her for a demonstration of how to measure how tall your dog dish needs to be. We're going to measure our dog, Pebbles, for her height of her raised dog dish, and to the top of her withers, she is 17 inches. So then you subtract 5 to 6 inches, and that will be the measurement of your legs. Now that we've measured our dog and got the right height, we've pre-cut all of our raised dog dish parts, have pre-sanded. Now, back in the day, we have these new things called vibrating orbital sanders, but when we were in high school and we did our projects when we were in 7th and 8th grade, even 9th grade, we had a teacher called Mr. Hurt, and he would give us a piece of sandpaper like this with a sanding block, and we had to hand sand everything. You would do everything you could to get a new piece of sandpaper, and I want to thank him because he's the reason I went into teaching, and the work ethic that goes into building a project by hand sanding it made you appreciate it more and everything else. So that's a little tip and a little shout out to Mr. Hurt. And for those of you that had Mr. Hurt, you'll know what I'm talking about.
Nobody's right if everybody's wrong. Young people speaking their minds are getting so much resistance from behind. Time we stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down.
All right, this is a pocket jig, kreg pocket jig, and it's a great way to fasten your apron to your legs. Other joints would be like a mortise and tenon joint. Takes a lot more time. You'd have to use the router, table saw, drill press to cut out a groove in there and make sure it's all lined up. This is a great invention that somebody came up with 4 or 5 years ago. It's called the kreg jig. And what we do is we got 3/4 inch stock thickness. So we set the drill bit, and there's a gauge right here on the side that you saw in the time lapse. You set this little guide right here to 3/4 inch, and then you put the collar down there and tighten it up so you can't go any deeper than that. And then on the side of this is also a gauge where it's 3/4 inch. So you set all that up so you're ready to cut all your pocket holes in the ends of your board. Always make sure you face the inside towards the pocket hole jig and then tighten it down. Okay, now we got our pocket holes cut in both ends for the legs and in the top to screw the top down. Now we're going to use these little masonite 1/4 inch spacers. What you do is you put your apron down and put your 2 legs, and that gives you the distance in from how far your apron's going to be. So we use these little templates, and we'll put glue and screw those together, tie our 4 legs together before we start on the top.
Just blow him away. Saw stars in his eyes. And the very next day, bought a beat-up 6-string in a second-hand store. Didn't know how to play it, but he knew for sure that one guitar felt good in his hand. Didn't take long to understand.
We got our base done, got it all pocket holed together, and now we're ready for our top to lay out for our food and water dish. So you measure over 2.5 for your bowl, measure in 2.5 for your other bowl, and then you measure to make sure you have 2 inches in between. And then we will draw circles around it with our pencil, and then these bowls are tapered, so we'll have to get the inside so the bowls will sit on the top.
Pleased to meet you. Hope you guessed my name. But what's puzzling you is the nature of my game. Stuck around St. Petersburg when I saw it was a time for
We finished cutting out the top for our dog dishes. Now we're going to attach the top to the base with the pocket holes, and we've measured in 1/4 inch from each end and 3/8 from each side, so it's centered. We got it clamped down. We're going to put them in with inch screws so we don't go through the top. And the reason we picked Beetle-kill and oak, we kind of like the contrast. When we stain it, it'll be 2 different colors and it'll kind of give us that contrast that we want. All right, we finished our dog bowl stand. We routed everything. We're ready to go. All the thing we have to do is stain it and get it ready. But we want to test it out for our Pebbles. We built this for Pebbles. We hope you would build one for your 4-legged family member also. It just helps with their digestive system and they don't have to work so hard when they eat. So we made this one for Pebbles, and we're going to test it out and see how she likes it for the first time. As you can tell, she's right next to us. So let's see how it works. Pebbles. Pebbles, want a cookie? Come on, there's a cookie. And there you go, it works great. We enjoyed doing this one. I hope you guys enjoy doing something like this with your pets or whatever during this time of out of school. Kids, you can still email us projects on our Facebook page and YouTube. We appreciate it. Had a lot of fun. Thank you.